How to select a pen as a defensive tool. Look in the description for a free buyer's guide. Hello, my name is Ian Kinder with Live Safe Academy. Anytime we're in a violent situation, we want to be better able to injure them than they can injure us. But in unarmed self-defense, that's almost never going to be the case because they're going to single us out because they have a physical advantage over us. Now, that doesn't mean we can't overcome that disadvantage. People do it all the time, but it is a disadvantage. But if you have a simple tool like a pen as a sharp weapon, now you can be better able to injure them than they are to injure you. And that can be a huge life-saving advantage. And this is particularly advantageous for women because you're much more likely to be targeted by a single unarmed male because they think they can overpower you, which means if you have a weapon, it might be the only weapon in that equation. And this is not theory. We have documented cases of both police officers and private citizens who have successfully defended their life with a pen. And what's nice about a pen over a knife, as an example, is it's an unrestricted item. You can take this in the courtrooms. You can take this on the airplanes. Minors can carry this with them and use it to save their life if they're old enough, if they're responsible enough, if they're properly trained. God forbid a minor is getting pulled into a car. I'd much rather have them use a pen as a defensive weapon to get away from that situation than hitting their way out of that situation. In fact, a pen is so much not perceived as a weapon that I could even be walking out to my car, have it in my hand. People don't think of it as a weapon, but God forbid I've got to defend myself. What's the fastest weapon you can deploy? The one that's in your hand. Now, when we look for a pen and a defensive tool, anything will work in a pinch. But there are some things that are advantageous. Like as an example, we want a flat top and we want a fixed tip. No clickies or twisties. We want a sharp tip. The sharpest I can find is 0.28. And we want a traditional tip, not a calligraphy tip or one of those tips that look like pencil lead. We want something that's stable. And I can take this right here and I can stab it into a soup can, and it's so durable that I'll put a hole in the soup can, but I won't damage the pen. And this particular pen, 0.28, is sharp enough that I can effectively get into all those vital areas that I need to with a pen to stop somebody from hurting me. Now, when I carry a pen like this, there's a couple other things we want to keep in mind. First of all, the clip. The cap may not cut it because the cap might come off and then you lose your pen. I like to buy clips that I put on myself so I can set it for wherever I want it and I know that clip's not going to come off. The other thing that's important is I don't want to get ink in my clothes. So I make sure that I pull the pen apart, I rinse out all the ink, and then I put it back together and I write with it until it writes dry and there's no ink that are going to stain my clothes. But you know, we have another option when it comes to pens. Tactical pens. Now, tactical is a code word for overpriced. So when you hear that word, hold on to your wallet. But there are good options. This Smith & Wesson pen is one of my favorite. Thank you, Joe Ferreira, for the loaner. But this is an all-metal pen. The cap's not going to come off, so the clip is reliable. It's not going to be as sharp as the pen that I just mentioned, but at the same time, this is probably not going to leak, and you can put your own inserts in based on what you want. And this is an excellent defensive tool, but because it's a tactical pen, you might find that you can't get it into all the places you might be able to get a regular pen, like into a courtroom or into an airplane. You might have issues with that, but it's still a wonderful defensive tool. And you know, we all need to know how to fight without the use of a weapon because our body and our minds are the only two things we take with us wherever we go, and they're the fastest things that we can deploy. So we all have to know unarmed self-defense, but we never want to fight unarmed if we can avoid it. When it's legal, ethical, and practical, we always want a defensive tool that's going to give us a fighting advantage over the disadvantage that the criminal is trying to impose upon us. And a pen is a great resource. Look down for our buyer's guide in the video description. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to contact our school, livesafeacademy.com, info@livesafeacademy.com, 586-771-8487. Stay safe and have a great day.